Dehnad. I was born on July 25th, 1977. Today is December 14th, 2017. This is 3 days post-op after I found out that I have an astrocytoma brain tumor while we were skiing in Austria for Thanksgiving. My boyfriend wakes up to me having epileptic seizure. The next thing I know, 2 days later, I woke up Wednesday noon at the ICU in Austria to a very nice neurosurgeon coming into the room and basically telling me where I was. He said, "You're in ICU, you were brought in with a seizure. We did a CT of your brain, and we found that you have a 5-inch tumor in your brain on the frontal right lobe, and we think it's astrocytoma." So we went to the hospital. I was admitted right away. They were all able to put me on the schedule for Monday for the surgery. Throughout this whole thing, you know, my brother flew from California, and friends just have been amazing. And around us, we have maybe over 60 or 70 great close friends with us, and without their help and my closest friends who came from Florida and their support and love, I would not be able to go in as strong as I did to the surgery. Fast forward to the story, we got to the hospital on the 4th, and every time they wanted to take me to an MRI, they kept asking me, "Is there a chance that you're pregnant?" And I said, you know, I'm not protected, and I believe they ran a test and it came out negative. And on the 4th, December 4th, the day that we arrived to the hospital, and on the pre-op, which was this last Monday, they take me, they prepare me. I stayed there for 8 days at the hospital, and I was going in very strong. I was very ready for the operation. I did not let the fear get to me. I kept telling people around me that I'm looking at this as the most positive thing that's ever happened in my life, and I will take this experience and raise awareness and spread the word and spread the love, because I was clueless before this, and this can happen to everyone. And if I don't share my story, I feel like this whole perspective change has placed a whole umbrella over my life, that now I know what my purpose in life has been. So we go to pre-op. The very nice lady at the pre-op nurse asked me, you know, "We're sending you for the final MRI, the contrast MRI. Is there a chance that you could be pregnant?" And I said, "I've been saying this since I got here. Yes, there is a chance that I could be pregnant." So they pretty much run a final blood work, and they send it down, and everything was so precise as Mass General that like they had it down to like the minute that I was going into the operating room, like, you know, how long the operation is going to take and how the procedure is going to be. It was just so precise that when things started getting a little delayed, I kind of started getting concerned. And then I heard her like looking at the computer and like calling the labs and saying, like, you know, "We sent blood, why does it say urine?" And then I started asking questions. I'm like, "Is everything okay?" And I see the whole surgical team coming in, and this is 20 minutes before they have the largest stretcher in the pre-op room, and they have a tag hanging pretty much from every body part, because it was such a massive surgery. It was, you know, it's traumatic, because you know why they're tagging you so much, because there is a great chance that you're not going to come out of there. With all these emotions coming in, I see the doctor coming in, and he's like, "You know, you're pregnant."
okay, babe. It's okay.
And like, we want you to take a minute to digest because it's a lot of information. And we want to make sure that you want to proceed. And is your family going to be here? And up until that point, I was kind of actually upset that, like, maybe I should have kept them and told them to come before pre-op because I insisted I didn't want them there. So I just want to wake up and see them. January 5th, you said? Okay. Alright, let me just put that in my calendar. Hold on.
You'll have an ultrasound, and then you're going to meet with the high-risk physician after this.
The anesthesiologist was this older lady about the same age as my mom. And she, out of pure kindness, she came in and she was doing her best to give me options of pretty much not going into surgery and proceeding. And then the neurosurgeon said that, it's so early that we wouldn't even detect it. And then the doctor said, at this point it's like an all or nothing. It's like, it's not my fault, but it's like an all or nothing. Obviously anesthesia can be harmful. And then I looked at him and I said, I want to proceed with this procedure as we didn't know this news. I want to go on. I don't want to go take a biopsy and come back in 3 months and go through this whole thing again. I want to proceed as we scheduled. So I went and proceeded with the surgery. And then when I came out, the whole night, the first night, that was all was in my head. And I requested to be consulted with in high-risk pregnancy. Everything that they were saying was kind of reassuring us at that point. That, the risks that have been exposed because it's so early on, it's just mainly just the risks that everybody at my age would have had. They did a hormone test 2 days after, and I'm still pregnant. And
That's great.
So
congratulations. I love you.
in the middle of this whole mess, I feel like it's a miracle. I do think that I conceived on Thanksgiving Day. And that's another reason why I really am determined to share my story with the world, because one day you can just be walking, skiing on slopes, and the following week you could be sitting in my seat. And I really am on a mission to raise awareness about cancer. And my other mission is to help people that are going through this process. I do want to make sure that every person that goes through this process has all the love they need to come out of it as strong as I did. I feel very lucky to be sitting here. The outcome could have been very different. I'm so grateful for the help that I was able to receive with help of everyone around me. I truly feel like now I know that's my mission in life. And I will not let go until I accomplish it.
So every time we do come here, it's a different vibe. I'm doing this to kind of a follow-up of my story that I'm sharing with everyone. The first video was right after my surgery and my diagnosis with cancer, and this one, and then we finding out that we were pregnant, and I'm 24 weeks now. So I kind of want to share my story of how this pregnancy news is as shocking as it came to me on the day of the surgery, my brain surgery. It's been the only reason that I think, or one of the main reasons that I've been able to fight this fight with cancer and come out of it so strong. When I was told that I was pregnant, I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what stage I was in. I didn't know the side effects of the anesthesia, medication, or the surgery on the fetus. And it was a very, very stressful time. And I haven't even shared the news with Payam. The only person I called from the operation room was my mom. And I told her that I was pregnant, and she was like, she didn't know what to expect either. Neither one of us did. Now that I look back, I feel like this baby is definitely a miracle baby, and I feel like the fact that I conceived, the time I conceived, if it was a week earlier or a week into it, the outcome would have been completely different, because I turned 40 last July, and the chances of me trying to get pregnant, because I've always wanted to be a mother, but like trying to get pregnant after the surgery and going into treatment, and even if it was like freezing my eggs, the chances were very slim. So I really think that this baby was meant to be, and it was a part of my journey, that something was taken from me and something was given. So that first 3 months, my main concern was the seizure medication I was on, because I was still put on a high dosage of it, although they took most of the tumor out. So the stress and the night sweats and the thoughts that were going through my head, and just the unknown, and the fear of getting attached to this baby that I've wanted more than anything in the world. It just really was a very, very emotional time in my life, to say the least. But didn't really share the news with anyone aside from like some of my closest friends that I told in the beginning, or very early on. But Payam and I decided to not really tell anyone, because we didn't know what the outcome of the baby, of the health of the baby is. So we planned on going on another ski trip. I was 12 weeks pregnant at that point that we were going. Right before it, I had the ultrasound that basically kind of informed that the fetus was in good condition, and I did my genetic testing, the blood test that pretty much tells you, it's a routine test for anybody over 35, that is considered a high-risk pregnancy. And they did the test, and we were supposed to get the results while we were away. I decided that I was going to ski because I kind of felt I was in isolation, and it was just a process of the hormones and the recovering from the surgery, and not the unknown of what's going on with the baby and the pregnancy. So it just it was really difficult times to I felt really alone, and not in prison. I don't know if that's the right word, but it felt really lonely. So although everybody, a lot of my friends, that they knew I was pregnant, they're like, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, what if you fall? And I was like, you know what, I think the pleasure and the effect, the good that is going to come out of me being outdoor and skiing and enjoying my day is going to do more good to me and the baby than me being stuck in a hotel room, especially when I'm away on a vacation after being stuck in the house for so long. And then before we went on the trip, I really thought that I was having a girl. I don't know why. So I went to the store to pick up something right before the trip, right after I did the blood test, but I didn't know the results. and I saw this cute little dress, and I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna, whoever gave me this child is gonna protect it, and I know it's gonna be fine, and I know this baby is gonna be fine, and this dress is super cute, I have to buy it. So I bought the dress, and I came home, and I didn't even tell Pam that I bought the dress. And we were on our trip, and the third day or fourth day that the nurse called me to give me the test results for the genetic test results and the all the other tests that were included in that blood test. And she asked me if I want to know the sex of the baby, and I said absolutely. And she's like, it looks like you're having a boy. And I just, it was an unconscious reaction of when I said, oh no, I mean yay, I'm having a boy. And I went, Payam was brushing his teeth, we were getting ready to leave the room, and I went and told him, and I think it was the first time that we both really felt the joy of this baby, and we hugged each other and we both started crying. And I told him, I'm like, it's a boy. I thought it was a girl. And he joked with me. He was like, you're a sexist. I'm like, I'm like, no, I'm not. And so we moved on. We had a great day that day. It was the first time that he actually showed his emotion about this pregnancy, which was really beautiful to me. He talked about which room do you want to turn into the baby's room, or, what do you want to do? And, all those things that I was hoping that it's going to come up. But I feel like it was more of an emotional detachment that we both had because of the unknown. But once we finally found out that everything is fine with the baby, we were just both very happy. And he was also, like, I could see the joy in his eyes, and the happiness of, like, once he really felt that, this change is coming and we're having this baby. So after a few months, the thoughts and the feelings, the beautiful feelings, it distracted me completely from the whole cancer situation. I put it in the back of, I feel like I put it in a box, and I put it in the back of my head that, that's just kind of something behind me. Finally, after the last ultrasound, that was to ensure, the baby's organs are all developed and the spinal cords and everything is intact in the way it should be. I think until then that I took like a deep breath, because I kept worrying. So I decided that I kind of needed a break. I needed a break, and I think Payam needed a break too. He's just been great. He's been very supportive, and I can't be more grateful than having him around as a partner. So I went to Miami. I took a couple of weeks, and I decided that I need this time to really think about the future, and just relaxing and just and enjoying that moment of joy that finally I know that my baby is fine. So I went there. The second day that I got there, I remember I'm staying with my friend and Steven, who also I work with, and he's like a brother to me. I remember he was sleeping in his room. It was around 7 or 8 o'clock in the afternoon. We had a beautiful day at the beach, and we'd gone back to his apartment. And I was sitting on the mattress that I was sleeping on, and I all of a sudden felt like both of my hands going numb, and it was really just kind of scary, because I didn't know why it's happening. And I started having my first seizure after the pregnancy, which was I didn't know what was going on at that point. I was so scared. I don't think I've ever been that scared in my life. Even, when I woke up in the ICU in Austria, finding out that I had a brain tumor, I didn't have that fear. And I think that fear that I felt that day, going through that seizure, was because of the pregnancy and feeling responsible for this other being, and being a mom and being so protective and not knowing if the seizure is going to get worse or it's just going to stop. So I started basically screaming for Steven's name. I'm like, Steven, you need to call 911. I'm having a seizure. he thought I was joking because he was sleeping, and he basically frantically woke up and he was trying to call 911, and thankfully it was just a focal seizure, and it went away after over a minute. We called paramedics. They came, they checked my vital signs, and they said there's really no reason for me to go to the emergency room, because my follow-up MRI 2 days before I went to Miami, they're like, you've just checked it and everything. If you have the results from that, there's really no reason for us to take you back to the emergency room. They can't do a CT because you're pregnant, and I think you should just call your doctor and see what she recommends. So we did that, and then I called my doctor and I called my psychiatrist, and they all my doctor, my neuro-oncologist, said that basically I did the right thing, which I took another one of my seizure medications right after the seizure stopped. So I came back from Florida 2 weeks after, and I had my follow-up doctor appointment with for the baby. Pam came with me to my doctor's appointment, and they basically said that they don't know why I had that seizure experience, but the fear of that seizure, just like it kind of it brought back something that I'd forgotten about because of the joy of having this baby and being pregnant. I thought that was like old news. I thought that tumor was like something that was in the past, and that it's not ever gonna come back to my life or have any effects on me again, and I just have to do a couple of treatments and I'm gonna be done with it. And I think that focal seizure that I had in Miami was kind of like putting it was like a wake-up call that you're still dealing with that. It's not like 100% gone. So, and then my neuro-oncologist suggested that I start treatments, radiation, and chemo right after the baby is born. But again, luckily, because it's a very slow-growing tumor, they could wait. I mean, I could wait till after the pregnancy. And life is just so unpredictable that it's we need to cherish every moment of it, and that's one of the main reasons I think I want to share my story with the world. And for me, I think it's been a motivation, this whole experience, to go back and look at something that was my dream, and that was my makeup line that I had created, and I stopped at some point. I've always wanted to relaunch my makeup line and get it to a point that I know it deserves to be, and use that success to help others, because to me that's the most important thing. If you would have told me last year that, hey, you have a brain tumor and you're gonna be pregnant on the day of your surgery, find out you're pregnant on the day of your surgery, and your dream of becoming a mom is just basically gonna be at this time, and which I'm so grateful. I think if it was any other time, it wouldn't be as effective as it was to me. And I feel like Omid, which that's the name that I picked for my son, means hope in Farsi. He really has been the only or the strongest hope that I've had through this fight with my journey with my cancer. And I truly believe that my baby is a reward for every good that I have ever done in my life. That was a way of a gift that I was given to pull through this hard time in my life. So I'm gonna continue keeping my story out there and the updates. My due date is supposed to be August 25th. If he comes out 2 days earlier, he'll be a Leo, and just like his mama, but we don't know that yet. So I'm looking forward. My mom is coming. She's very excited. She's hosting a baby shower for me on July 21st, which is a few days before my birthday, my 41st birthday. and I can't wait for that day. Such a joyful moment that it keeps me moving forward, and it keeps me focused on future, and have the strength to pull through and not really think about the side effects of the radiation that I'm going to have, or how hard it's going to be, like, having a newborn and going to radiation, because it's 6 weeks and it's every day, 5 days a week. But again, the joy of this baby is really what makes me stay focused. And I sometimes really think about, if I wasn't given this gift, like, how would I go through, because I really have always wanted to be a mom, and I would have gone to treatment right away after the surgery, and probably the dream of being a mother would have never happened. And I just can't picture how that would have felt for me to know that I have to give up my dream and go through and deal with cancer, and how my life would have turned. Really looking for all these, cherishing every moment, if it's getting his room ready or going shopping for his room. And Payam is even excited. He wants to get the baby a race car, so we decided to stick with diapers for now. And it's very joyful. It's like a very happy time in our lives, and I can't wait for him to be here, and for me to meet him and see who is this warrior who saved me and helped me go through this journey of dealing with recovering from cancer. I know that once I meet that baby, I know what my purpose in life has been, and with his help, I know I can pull through radiation and chemo, and nothing is gonna stop me from my fight, especially after I have him in my arms. So that's basically it. Yeah.